Good morning from Goa. Continuing from my first vlog in Goa when I suddenly escaped over a weekend by night sleeper bus from Bangalore from the stuffiness of living alone for work in a busy and formal city, I found myself cocooned in a peaceful Ozranbeach despite hot and humid September of 2024 for 2 weeks. This was my third time trip to Goa, but first time alone here, so I was in an exploration mode to relax and avoid the overkilled tourist spots. This escapade was slow and relaxing, where I could soak in the sun and see in the true Goan spirit of Susegad in northernmost part of Goa, just the way I needed it to be. I live in my favorite leather boots, which got wet and dried on the beach without any complaint. I basked in the peaceful beaches and had them almost for myself. So after a late breakfast at the resort, I used to venture out on foot with my umbrella to explore the local markets near Little Vagator and Ozranbeach. The streets are full of bohemian hippie and laid-back cafe culture amid some nice old Goan settlements and villas. This was my travel route in Goa. Scoot 10 kilometers from Mapusa bus stop to Ozran and then exploring northernmost beaches from Querin, then Arambol, Morjim and back to Ozran. More details ahead. Venturing alone in almost empty and unknown beaches under the September sun felt unreal and deep. I caught a nice tan and felt being the main character in some classic Enid Blyton or Charles Dickens stories, perhaps. When the sun went too high, I used to get some shade, rest and soulful refreshment at the adjoining restaurants like Slick, Noah's, Purple Martini, Eva Cafe to name a few, which had direct access and breathtaking views of the beach. I leisured the whole afternoon there and feasted on some amazing grilled fish I've ever tasted anywhere else. You will miss out on much of the invigorating and avant-garde spirit of North Goa if you don't ride a scooter there. And since the police always keeps the weather eye open, I just couldn't dare ride without my license still out. So I continue my onward march of joy to the nearby Garden Hilltop, which is the venue of Asia's biggest and world's 11th ranked music festival, the famed Sunburn Fest every December end. The next day I booked a cab for 3.5k and went off to the northest part of Goa near about 35 kilometers or so to Tirakol village, crossing over Siolin part of Old Goa. I stopped multiple times en route at the side of Tirakol river, which runs like a natural border between Maharashtra and Goa. A picturesque Tirakol fort sits right after crossing the ferry, but hired cabs fusses to cross over. So I spent a good long afternoon at the banks of the Tirakol river gurgling by. The northernmost beach of Goa is Querin Beach, which is one of the most serene and peaceful beach I've ever been. It has a hidden cave which sinks on high tide, and they put up a red flag on the beach once the cave sinks every day to restrict anyone going in for the daring dive-in cave. I marveled, lazing on the golden beach, weaving imaginations befitting of its spirit. Well, it was a good thought, as long as it lasted. Next up was Arambolbeach, hyped as the Russian beach of Goa. It has a nice crowd with good spread of refreshment facilities over its golden sands. But if you go there off-season, like me, you will miss the fire shows in the afternoon by Russian immigrants on the beach. And otherwise, you will find many migrated Russians and Ukrainians, especially due to the recent wars in their country, doubling in the number of immigrants here, besides the hippies doing odd jobs for livelihood. Arambolbeach has loads of free world relaxation, but to me it was also disappointing with all the background information of lives there. But like the waves of the sea, both life and love endureth. My further exploration on foot took me to a real fisherman's cove and village, right behind the Chapora Fort of the movie Dil Chahta Hai fame. I spent a lovely evening at the Chapora beach and lost the sense of time there. It was only when I realized I had no phone network or internet to navigate back and was lost for some time in a bit scary village, only to be saved by an old fisher lady who walked me back to connectivity. Boy, I was happy to be back amidst the familiar city crowd. And spent the rest of the evening in a Greek club, Thalassa Cliff, eating my heart out to calm my nervous system. Finally, I visited a place with most satisfying sunset in North Goa. Morjimbeach was more than words can explain any sunset. I hope I could capture at least some of its aesthetics in these glimpses as I spent some fleeting moments walking in the golden aura fading into saffron dusk and darkness. And still didn't want to leave like many others beholding it there. I started to miss home, my real home with my family. My remaining few days in Goa was full of non-stop rains. So I caught up on work from my porch, hummed few praise of gratefulness to Jesus, and had few classic wood-fired pizzas and steaks, and hung around places like Jaws, Paz's, Mango Tree, Noah's to imbibe some core Goan spirit of Susegad before bidding goodbye to its Para Road and stepping into my sleeper bus from Mapusa to Bangalore again. And wishing I was home.